What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. I cover political news. Now, there are certain things in life that you would think would be just plain as day, just right out there in the open, like common sense, right? Like criminal aliens being deported, people that come into this country illegally. You would think, hey, if you're caught here illegally, we're just going to get rid of you. And then on top of that, you would think, okay, so they haven't done anything wrong, whatever. You would think that the ones that actually have done stuff wrong would immediately be deported, right? Like people with a criminal record be deported outright. So there should be no need for new legislation to deport criminal aliens that have a criminal background. That should be just immediate, right off top. Just, okay, common sense, we don't want criminals coming into our country. Because why? Because they're criminals, for crying out loud. We only want the best of the best. We want people that want to come here for a better life. People that are willing to contribute to society, not to destroy society. That's what we want. Okay, we have no problem with immigration. I have no problem with immigration whatsoever. Do it legally. The legal pathway, that's the way to go. You can't just come across a country's borders. Like, who in their right mind thinks that they can cross a border? Hey, hang on. Millions of people think that they can just come across our border and nothing happens. As a matter of fact, our government is subsidizing criminal aliens. That's right. That is right. They are subsidizing these people. That's an insane thought to think about. Let's get into the news right quick, because this will blow your freaking mind. If your mind is not already blown enough that you can't really blow your mind anymore with the political landscape these days. It's getting outright insane out there, folks. And we need more truth. We need more facts in this world. And people keep coming with the lies and the manipulations. And yeah, that's not what we need right now. Check this out, y'all. House bill deports illegals with sex offenses. Now, how come they had to make up this legislation? This was kind of shocking to me, right? Like, okay, so yeah, the Biden administration has an open border policy for the most part, right? Like currently, the numbers are down. They're doing okay on that southern border, but they're still importing citizens. They're just outright importing citizens. That, like the whole Haitians thing. I know that was a big story that blew up. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. That thing, yeah. 20,000 Haitian migrants. They're not criminal aliens. They were imported by the Biden administration. That's right. They were flown in from Haiti. Hey, for good reason. They're kind of refugees, if you will. Not actually refugees, but in a sense, they're refugees. But the Biden administration is doing this all over the place. So it's not just the millions that have come across our southern border, right? That's why people like me and people like Donald Trump and a lot of these right-wing pundits, not the corporate press, they'll say 15 to 20 million in this country. That's because the official numbers, and when they tell you 8 to 10 million have come across that southern border. Yeah, that's the official numbers. They have no idea what the gotaways are, because they can't know what the gotaways are. There's no way, because they got away, for crying out loud. But the reason we say that number is so high is it's stark difference, right? Because we're factoring in gotaways, estimates, by the way, and then all of these people that the Biden administration is just flying in from all over the world. They're flying in Haitians, people from Africa, people from the Middle East, people from China. Yeah, we've got at probably 500,000 Chinese nationals in our country that the Biden administration has just imported into our country. And for what? For what reason? I would love to know why they are doing this. I would love to know that. Like, give me a good reason. But they don't have one. They will manipulate you and tell you, oh, the border is secure. No, it hasn't been. It might be now. Might be kind of secure now, because there's an election coming up, and they know that's a soft spot for Democrats, because they have destroyed this country with that open border policy of theirs. It's insane. Let's get into the news right quick. The House approved a bill Wednesday requiring the federal government to deport illegal immigrants who have a history of sex offenses and domestic violence. Oh, so it's not just sex offenders. It's domestic violence as well. Yes, that is right. How come we don't deport every single one of these people that are in our country? How come we can't get legislation to deport anybody that crosses our border illegally? That would be the common sense thing to do, right? Now, look, I get it. We have a broken immigration system, or at least, hang on, let me retract that. I'm going to walk that back there for a second. They keep calling it a broken immigration system, but is it really broken? Or was it set up in such a way to only allow in so many people a year because whoever came up with this idea to only allow so many people in per year, that they thought, if you flood the country with immigrants, you're going to destroy the jobs market. You're going to have shortages, food shortages. You're going to have problems all over the place. Some of these people won't be able to get jobs. So you'll have homeless people living on the streets, and you'll have to subsidize these people. Why? Well, because you brought them in. You allowed them to come in. You gave them citizenship. Oh, and Democrats, they love a good handout. They love for the government to feed these people because, they think that if the government gives you money, that you're going to be loyal to the Democrat Party. Well, that's not how reality works, by the way, but it does for certain people. But, some of these people need to be a little bit more awake in their mind to realize the manipulation that's going on with this. The Biden administration imports millions of people because that's what they're doing. Then they give these people subsidies, right? They're giving these people thousands of dollars, or in some cases hundreds of dollars a month, right? In food stamps and just money, just government assistance in general. They're wanting to give these people sex changes and give these people free Medicare and all kinds of garbage for these people. But they won't do that. Like we talked about yesterday with the combat vets. Congress can't even fund our combat veteran, the VA, for crying out loud. They have no problem subsidizing criminal aliens. They have no problem sending billions of dollars to fund war, but they can't not sign a bill to pay for our combat veterans, people that fought and were injured for this country. That's insane to me. It blows my mind. And any of y'all that watched the video yesterday might be thinking, well, why is he still harking on that? Because that pisses me off till no end. Once again, I'll say it. I don't think our combat vets should want for anything for the rest of their damn lives, especially the ones that come back the injured. People that are disabled because of a dirty politician saying, let's go to war. Yeah, they shouldn't have to pay for a damn thing for the rest of their lives. Sorry. That just, it blows my mind as to why these people are so willing to fund war but can't even take care of the soldiers that they send over there to die. It's mind-blowing, y'all, but let's get into the story. Every Republican and 51 Democrats voted to pass the Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act, which was introduced by Rep. Nancy Mace. Go Nancy Mace. She is one of the 10 to 15 Republicans, congressmen, that I like, that I think do a pretty good job. She is one of those. There's not many, folks. Like I said, 15 out of about 435. That's insanity. If signed into law, the bill would amend the Immigration and Nationality Act so illegal immigrants with a history of sex offenses or domestic violence would not be admitted to the country and deported. H.R. 7909 is about common sense, a trait solely lacking in Washington these days, Mace wrote in an op-ed in the Post and Courier. This bill ensures predators who pose a threat and have been previously convicted of sexual assault, domestic violence, and other heinous crimes are turned away or immediately deported. It's time to stop coddling criminals and start standing up for the innocent victims who deserve justice and families who deserve peace of mind. Majority Leader Steve Scalise attacked woke prosecutors who don't arrest illegal immigrants for crimes against women at a press conference Wednesday. Everybody on the House floor should vote for that bill, Scalise said. But if any Democrat there votes against it, they're going to have to explain to people back home who are watching this be carried out in every community in America why they would rather stand with illegals than women in their own districts that they represent. That's crazy, and he's right. He is totally correct in that. Like, anybody that votes against legislation like this, and yes, once again, like it said, only 51 Democrats out of about 200 Democrats voted for this legislation. I just wonder what goes through these people's minds. Like, why would you not want this? Why was this not already a thing? By the way, how come this legislation even needed to be passed? That should be the very first question. But when you start asking questions like this, you're told, shut up! Just outright, shut up! They want a better life! No! I'm sorry, I don't care about criminals. Right? Every single person that comes across that border illegally has committed a crime against this country. And in doing so, they deserve to be deported. Outright. There's no argument against this. There is no, oh, they want to come for a better life. They're dreamers and all that other garbage. I'm sorry. You could come the legal way. There are legal pathways. And when people choose to go around the system, to do an end run around the system, all these people that are doing it the legal way, trying to come into this country to actually have a better life, they want to skip the line essentially and just zip around that. No, I'm sorry. We should not treat you with kid gloves, coddle these people because we're compassionate. No, that's toxic compassion because you're damaging everything around you. Once again, like I said, it damages the jobs market when you flood the country with people because most of those people need jobs. And we don't always have that many jobs to give out to people. That's one thing I really dislike about the Biden administration because they keep touting all these jobs and all this garbage where they're giving them to non-citizens. Like what? That's no. Why don't you take care of your own people first, Joe Biden? Right? Like the Democrat Party is supposed to be the blue collar party, right? The party of the people. But they give your jobs away to criminal aliens. That's what they're doing. The Democrats, listen, folks, if any Democrats are listening out there, Democrats are not your friends. Neither are Republicans, by the way. Aside from about, like I said, about 15 Republicans. Republicans are not your friends either, but Democrats are definitely not your friends. Speaking of that, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard, but the Teamsters, I think it's the Teamsters. My memory's poor, so I'm sorry. They polled their workers, and 60% support Donald Trump. That's insane. 60% of union workers in that union don't back the party of the union. I wonder why that is. Maybe because they know the Democrat Party does not care about the common folk, about the average, everyday American citizen. They prove it time and time again. This legislation is more proof of that. Yeah, proof, not just evidence. Proof. They don't care about the average, everyday citizen. Rep. Jerry Nadler opposed the legislation, saying it was designed to scapegoat and fearmonger about immigrants. That's what your excuse is? That's the reason you didn't vote for this, Jerry Nadler? Jerry Nadler is one of the most insane Democrats I think I've ever come across. He's one of these contrarians, right? Like anything Republicans do, he has to just do the opposite. So he's the opposite of common sense because there are many, many, many Republicans that have a lot of common sense. They may not vote in the interests of the average everyday person, and they may not be your friend, but at least most of them have common sense, and they can see that stuff that they do, may benefit themselves, but as a result will benefit Americans, so they vote for it. Going against this bill and using the excuse that it's a scapegoat and fear-mongering. Hang on, Jerry. What about all the people that are injured by criminal aliens? Right? All these people that are coming into the country. Criminal alien criminality has skyrocketed. But guess what? They're trying to tell you, no, crime is down according to FBI statistics. Well, you know what? A lot of these local precincts, they don't necessarily report their statistics to the FBI. A lot of crimes don't get reported at all, especially in Democrat strongholds, because they know up here that, hey, if they keep the statistics down, they can tell their constituents, hey, look, crime is going down. But what they don't realize is that when people actually see the crime on the streets, like we've been seeing for a while now, that people see the crime. They don't have to look at statistics and say, oh, well, crime is going down, y'all. Murders are really low and blah, 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 blah. They see it with their own eyes. So they hear a politician say, yeah, crime is down. They're like, hang on. Where? Because they see a lot of crime. They don't realize that that's detrimental to their campaigns, to them being in power. They don't realize it. That's why the Democrat Party, this is why I call them insane, because they just don't see that they are a detriment to this country by the way they vote and by their policies. Their policies show that they don't care about average, everyday folks at all. At all. Let's finish this out right quick and then I'm going to rant. Sexual offenses and domestic violence are serious crimes, and if this bill fixed some gap in current law, I would have no problem supporting this legislation, Nadler said during floor debate. But that is not the case here. In reality, the redundancies in this bill all but assure that no additional dangerous individuals would face immigration consequences if it were to become law. So, that's your excuse, Jerry. Oh, it's redundant. How come we're not enforcing these policies? How come they have to make up this bill? He is right. This shouldn't have to be a thing. These people should be deported already. They should never be allowed into the country in the first place. But Jerry Nadler likes to be contrary. He just wants to go against the grain on this one. People can see the criminal alien criminality for their own eyes. We've seen it for the past 3.5 years. It's risen dramatically, and it's affected people's lives, by the way. And they don't like it. They like to see stuff like this. This could be all a big virtue signal, because I'm sure that, yeah, these people already need to be deported, and there's already laws on the books to deport these people. The point, Jerry, is that the Biden administration isn't doing their damn job. So what can Congress do when their constituency is yelling and screaming and gnashing their teeth? Look, all these criminal aliens, they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. What are you to do at that point? You can't force the Biden administration to do anything, or can you? Yes, you can use the power of legislation to attempt to force the Biden administration to enforce the laws in this country, for crying out loud. We've been trying to get Joe Biden to do this ever since he was elected into office, and he refuses to do so. There should be consequences for that. It's called impeachment. But they don't have the balls to do it. They're cowards. Republicans, most of them, are cowards. They refuse to play ball when somebody actually stands up and wants to fight for the people of their district and say, Joe Biden is destroying the country. Let's impeach this fool, because we have plenty of ground to cover here. We have plenty of incriminating evidence to get a high crimes and misdemeanors impeachment underway and through the House. Why not do it? They are cowards, folks. That's exactly the problem. They are cowards, and they don't want to. They don't want to have to face the music. They don't want to hear Democrats railing and gnashing their teeth and calling them names. They want the mainstream narrative machine to be nice to these people, to say good things about Republicans. That's what they want. They don't care about what their constituents think. Right? I talked about this yesterday. If these people would just tell the truth, they're worried about a looming government shutdown because of appropriations of all things. Shut the freaking government down. That's what I say. Go ahead, shut it down, because if you go back to your district and tell your constituents, hey, look, sorry, we had to shut the government down. Their budget is $1.7 trillion in the red, in a deficit. In other words, $1.7 trillion of money we don't have would be spent. So we had to send the budget back to the federal government, to Joe Biden, and tell him, you got to rework this budget. It's way too much. They would be fine with that. They would be like, great, you're doing a good job. Thank you very much. But instead, no, we get lies and manipulation. We get the Senate saying, we can't shut the government down. Oh, Republicans are trying to shut the government down. And then Republicans cower like some little scared rats in a corner or something. Like, oh no, Chuck Schumer's mad at us. We better pass this legislation, y'all. Instead of standing up and saying, no, this budget is insane. These laws are not enforced. We need to do something. Tell your constituency the truth. They would like you a whole hell of a lot better. I can assure you of that. I can guarantee your you would be voted for as long as you wanted. Until you get to a certain age, of course. If you tell them the truth, hey, we shut the government down because they wrote up some insane budget, or they wouldn't enforce the laws, or whatever is on the table. You tell them the freaking truth. I can promise you they won't be mad about it. Who cares? Shut the government down. I bet you there's plenty of government employees that would be totally fine with not going to work if it meant we get this country back on track. If we get our budget situation worked out. Balance our checkbook, so to speak. Things like that. Enforce our laws. They would be totally fine with that. Yes, go ahead and work all that out. We have time. Be just fine with that, I bet. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Is this not the dumbest thing that they actually had to write up legislation to tell criminals that are criminal aliens that, yeah, they need to get out of the damn country. We need to deport these people. Or, just craziness, y'all. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.